What are your thoughts?
We showed great perseverance to stick with it. But playoff basketball, like they made the plays at the end of the game the other night, game one. We made the plays at the end of this game. So I think that's a good idea of how playoff basketball is when you got two pretty good teams playing.
What did you say to them when it was all going bad and down by 20 and stuff? What did you say to them to keep them in the game at that point and be able to chip away to get back into the contest?
Like that was you pretty much answered the question as far as like we hadn't played good for 60 minutes in the series, but everyone has commented on how powerful our offense can be, and we've been very pedestrian. So I felt like we had a moment at some stage for that bubble to burst and just keep guys believing in that. But like they're giving them credit, like every time out, like our mentality as a group to just chip away and to stay with it and to fight was unbelievable.
And you know that we always expect Rice to be the one to step up to the team, but you didn't rely on him tonight. You got the others, like Henry's fantastic, Christopher's fantastic, like chips in,
yeah.
So what does that do for you to make them have to rethink how they approach beating you in the future?
I don't know about that, but all year I've been preaching to our team, like everyone's going to get a moment or an opportunity, and all you have to do is do your job. And what your job is to play to the best of your ability, and you saw Ty Webster with a great example of that of him tonight. Doolittle stuck with it. Dylan, second half. But like, you look at Ben Henschel's stat line, he did a phenomenal job chasing Chris around all night. So, like, it's not always going to be pretty, but the uglier it got, actually the better I felt about us because we just kept fighting. And if you keep fighting, you give yourself a chance.
You talked about the offense, but it was your defense, wasn't it, in the second half that it all started from? Even when you weren't scoring yourself, you were able to stop them scoring early in the third quarter.
Yep.
And then I think in the last 11 minutes of the game, they only scored 15 points. And you mentioned Ben's job chasing around with Chris in it, especially after quarter time. I mean, defensively, that's where you really did shut them down.
Yeah, and like you made a great point about like, although we weren't scoring, we did a good job of minimizing their scoring during that period. I thought we gained a little momentum going into the half, although it was like 14 at halftime. Third quarter, at the end of the third quarter, we were less like incrementally chipping in. So every time our guys could look up at the scoreboard, we're chipping away. Like halftime talked about how we won the second quarter. And as I said, I come back to it. When we come to the bench for a timeout, these guys were locked in, and they just kept talking positivity about how we can get it done.
You say they just have to do their job. It was Dylan Windler's job, 27 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists and 4 blocks.
Absolutely.
You must be blown away by that performance. That second half was quite amazing, and his energy that he provided was unbelievable.
Yeah, like just reflecting on what Craig said about Bryce, is one of the beautiful things about this team is they actually really embrace everyone's success when they have their moment. And you asked me about his stat line. Would I like that every night? Absolutely. Is it feasible? Probably not. But when someone's rolling or we feel like we can capitalize on their brilliance, we want to go to that, and we're fortunate enough that we have guys that have that dynamic playmaking and scoring ability amongst our group.
Well, how are you feeling after that, Dylan? Because for whatever reason you struggled to get involved in game one, and then everyone struggled in the first half tonight, but then to produce that in the second half, how are you feeling now?
I feel good, obviously, to get the win. We didn't want our season in tonight, so that's the biggest thing. We just want to get the win. But, I wanted to make it a point to try to get myself going early tonight. First half, wasn't great, missed some bunnies, but I knew I was going to have to step up, or somebody's going to have to step up. We're going to have to make some shots in the second half. We're going to win this thing. We were down 20 in the third quarter. But like Coach said, I think everybody on the bench, every time out, we believed, we knew we could win. It's a long game. Momentum is a powerful thing, especially in this arena. So if we knew we could get some stops, get some scores together, and get the crowd into the game, then we'd have a really good chance. And we just chipped away.
Dylan, you had 3 threes and an and one going down the stretch. Was that kind of aggression a directive from John, or was that something that just came to you through the camp?
I mean, both. Yeah, he has a lot of confidence in me, and he made sure to tell me that before the game. You know, like I said, somebody's gonna have to step up, and obviously they do a good job on Bryce. They have a really good defender in Rillie. So, yeah, me, Henny, when these shots are there, we all got to be able to take open shots and even take tough shots at times. So, I was able to get in a pretty good rhythm there in the second half.
Brad, you have to check your playoff history and stuff. But is this stage, is this what you sort of live for? Is this the occasion you're striving, waiting for?
Yeah, I mean, this is playoff basketball is what you live for as a player. Regular season games are fun and all, but this is where stuff really happens. So, yeah, in this type of environment, and it's what you live for as a player to be able to make big shots and big moments and keep your team alive.
Talk about Tyler coming with the shoulder and playing really well. Christian goes off with it, the shoulder comes back 30 seconds over and makes the crucial shot. You've got some guys who've shown some pretty tough bodies and tough minds to be able to play through some pain at the moment.
Yeah, you have a minute there where Doolittle comes off with that tie the other night, but I think it's a credit to their resilience. But as he talked about, everyone wants to be in these moments, and I can't speak highly enough of how these guys all year have just chipped away at understanding and appreciating each other's value. We're using Ty Webster in a screening action where he's kind of a traditional point guard or combo guard. Guys are living for each other right now.
So who have lost them all year and now got them when you're 20 points down. Do you think that will change the mindset of your group and of them about what this rivalry actually is now?
All I can worry about is the mindset of our group and how we approach Game 3. And I addressed it after Game 1. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're going to be about who we are. Because as you saw in the fourth quarter, when we're at our best, we're a good team. So it's all about the execution of it all. How Ben Henschel did a phenomenal job. Wagstaff come in and played a huge role when, in the first half, he was the one that just kept that scoreboard ticking over to keep hope for us during that moment.
I wanted to ask you about Jesse because you're right. You were probably down plus 20 at half time if it wasn't for him in that second quarter. But then even in the second half, just with how smart and physical he is, he set screens. And it was such a crucial 40 minutes from him.
And it seems like I'm repeating, but everyone does their job. We're a good team, but then they also trust each other in those moments as well. And Bryce, we talk about his scoring MVP, but tonight, the way he just allows the game to him, and then all of a sudden he gets right down the keyway for a crucial layup because he's made some shots. Wagstaff stretched the defense. Ty Webster's doing what he's supposed to do. So when they're in harmony with each other, it's nice to watch.
Your challenges got you. I reckon you challenged for 4 points tonight, getting them right, and not letting them get to the free throw line. How important is it to be able to trust your blokes that when they say, trust me, just call it, when sometimes you don't have the vision available at the time to make the decision?
Yeah, look, in those moments you have to trust the player. As much as we can hope for the video replay and all, you got to trust your player in that moment. And I trust my players to make big plays in big moments. The same has to be reciprocated there, and it was very fortuitous for us tonight.
That was a massive play when you didn't end up fouling. Chris, did you know you didn't touch him?
I really thought I just got the ball. Obviously on the replay, it looked like a lot of contact. I think he flailed his body a bit and tried to sell it. But I think in that situation, I think we were down 8. Obviously, it was the fourth quarter. It's kind of a do or die moment. It's a big swing. If he goes to the line, knocks down 3 free throws, 11-point game. If we get it right, we end up getting the tip ball, and it's an 8-point game, our ball. So it's just kind of one of those that I was very confident that I blocked the shot, but I think you had to take a chance on it regardless.
Could I ask you played on the big stage, and you looked like you were enjoying it, and you had every reason. That crowd tonight, was that one of the most unbelievable feelings to be in such a red-hot form with them almost standing for that whole last quarter?
Yeah, obviously it's a great feeling when you get the crowd involved and you're hitting big shots. But I did my best to keep the crowd in the game. Even when we're down 12, 14, 10, whatever it was, I knew we were going to need the momentum and the crowd on our side. to get some big stops down the stretch. So just trying to keep energizing them, keep the belief in the crowd, because I knew we had it on the floor.
Is a series about momentum, and do you have the momentum now to finish this one in and move on through to the next stage?
Well, it certainly helped us. Otherwise, our season's done. But basketball's a game of momentum. So us finishing the game and playing with that level of intent was great to see. I'm sure we'll be in a better spot moving to Melbourne, finishing the game in that fashion, especially the fourth quarter.
Chris Golding's had 54 points over the last 2 games, and you guys have continued to primarily play like a single man coverage against him. What's the idea behind that, and can we expect to see that again on Tuesday?
Whoever is on him, I trust to execute our game plan on that. On the flip side, Chris Golding is one of the best shot makers in the NBL history. So he's going to have those moments and those nights, but Ben Henschel did a phenomenal job in the second half, chasing him around and making him take tough shots.
What was the idea behind switching Ben onto in the second half? Because primarily the first half you were playing a mix of Bryce Golding and Odin. So what was the idea behind that switch?
Yeah, just a different look. Bryce had been chasing him around, but where Chris doesn't get enough credit is just his ability to move off the ball or sense the moment when it's like a 50-50 ball, or the game gets a little ugly and you might look one way. He's elite at that, and I don't think he gets enough credit. You can talk about his shooting, but how he can manipulate those moments is very good.
John, we didn't see Keanu in the last quarter at all. Assuming he's fit, was that just circumstance and how the game was playing out?
Yeah, purely the way the game was going.
You guys allowed a lot of pretty easy shots inside tonight. Was that sort of scheme related and something you were willing to live with, or was that just kind of missed rotations?
Sounds like I need to get your defensive video playbook. Do you have one?
No.
Look, we're to our defensive schemes. You asked me about Chris Golding. We let him get loose from 3. Pretty good chance we lose the game. So you got to pick your poison when you're at this time of the year, and they're a very good team. So you have to choose what you live with. I'm sure they're going to look at Dylan's performance tonight and the way they defend us. So, the 3-point shot is just so huge in today's game. You think about tonight's game, Ian Clark waltzes down the keyway for an open court layup and everyone loses their mind, but it was actually a very good heads-up play because Golding's on the wing and Ben Henschel goes to Golding. He hits a 3 in that moment. It's not, we're still not playing in the 70s or 80s, 1970s or 80s. The game's evolving and it's a little different with some of your strategies around this stuff. Yep.